the sun is a star like those seen in the sky. It is at the center of the solar system, and there's life on Earth thanks to heat and light from the sun. It's like a giant fireball. Mercury is the planet closest to the sun and the smallest of the 8 in the solar system. During the day, it is very hot, but at night, it's very cold. On the surface, there are many craters caused by meteorites that have crashed there. Venus is about the size of Earth and is composed of the same rocky materials, but we could not live there because it's much hotter and is covered in volcanoes and poisonous gases. Earth is the only planet in the solar system where there is life. Like all planets of the solar system, it revolves around the sun, following a path we call an orbit. It takes a year to go around the sun and 1 day to revolve once on itself. Mars is a very dry planet, like a desert, and it's covered in red sand. That's why it's called the Red Planet. Have people ever gone to Mars? No, but we've sent spaceships and robots to explore the planet. Maybe an astronaut will arrive there someday. Jupiter is a giant planet that's formed by gases and does not have a solid surface. It is the largest planet in the solar system. It is huge. It's as big as all the other planets together. Saturn is well known thanks to its fabulous bright rings. These rings are formed by millions of ice particles. It's pretty, isn't it? Uranus has many moons that circle around it. It has 1, 2, 3, 27 moons. Can you imagine how it would be here on Earth if we had so many moons? Neptune is covered by a thick gaseous layer and is very cold because it's very far from the sun. It looks like a blue-green disk with a telescope. For many years, it was believed that Pluto was a planet. But finally, scientists have agreed that it is a dwarf planet. And yes, you've guessed right, it's very small. The moon is the only natural satellite of planet Earth. Although it shines, the moon does not produce any light. It only reflects the light of the sun. Has anyone ever been to the moon? Yes! So far, 12 people have gone there, but nobody has gone for years. The first person to walk on the moon was Neil Armstrong in 1969. Would you like to go? It must be a fantastic experience. The solar system is part of the Milky Way, a giant galaxy that contains billions of stars. Scientists believe that there's a black hole in the middle that absorbs everything that passes too close. It is possible to see the Milky Way stretching across the sky at night like a cloudy, luminous strip. Shooting stars are not really stars. They're meteors that cross through the atmosphere of the Earth. Those meteors heat up a lot when they cross through the atmosphere until they almost become fireballs. The constellations are groups of stars that form an imaginary drawing. There are 88 constellations, and most of them were imagined by the Greeks more than 2,000 years ago. An observatory is a place where there are large telescopes to see and study space. They're usually in high places and where there's little light pollution. Some observatories can be visited, and they even let you look through their telescopes. If you have one nearby, you can suggest a visit to your parents or your teachers. A telescope is a device that allows you to see very distant space objects, such as the moon or other planets. They're very powerful ones. It's hard to have one at home, but you can ask at school if they have one. To observe the planets and the stars, you don't need anything special. At first sight, you can see many constellations and some planets. With binoculars, you get to see the planets Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, and Saturn. You can also observe the moon very well. But be careful, it's very important that you never look at the sun with binoculars. You could burn your eyes. Did you know that not everyone sees the same stars in the sky? You can see some stars in the northern hemisphere, and you can see others in the southern hemisphere. So there are boys and girls who, when they look at the sky, do not see the same stars as you. Shooting stars are not really stars. They're meteors that cross through the atmosphere of the Earth. Those meteors heat up a lot when they cross through the atmosphere until they almost become fireballs. The rockets that travel into space are very large and have very powerful motors because they have to climb very high and very fast. There's a small spaceship with astronauts or a satellite inside each rocket. The rockets are formed by many parts. As they go up, some parts are dismantled until only a small part remains. This last part is where the astronauts or satellites are. The countries competed with each other for many years to see who could perform the greatest feat in space. But most countries collaborate with each other now, and instead of competing, they help each other. I wish they did the same with many other things. The rockets need a lot of fuel to go so high and fast. Their motors run on a special fuel that can't be bought at gas stations.
Oh!
Most spaceships must land with a parachute when they return to Earth. There's no gravity in space, which means that everything floats, including people. It seems very funny, but it's very complicated to do anything without gravity. You can't shower, there must be special toilets, you have to tie yourself to the bed to sleep. Astronauts are the women and men who go to space. To go, they must study and train a lot. Yuri Gagarin was the first man to travel to space in 1961, and the first woman was Valentina Tereshkova, 1963. The International Space Station is a laboratory in space that circles around the Earth. Astronauts from many different countries live in it and carry out many experiments and investigations while they are there. How do astronauts get to the space station? Well, with the Soyuz spaceship and rocket. In space, it can be very cold and very hot. The sun's rays are very dangerous, and there's no air to breathe. It is very dangerous. For this reason, astronauts must wear a special suit. The suit has many layers of clothing: a helmet, cameras, microphones, a backpack with oxygen, lights. They even wear diapers for when they have to be away from the ship for many hours. Spaceships and satellites obtain energy in space from solar panels that produce electrical energy from the sun's rays. There are many satellites built by people circling the Earth. There are meteorological ones that are responsible for observing the clouds and storm warnings. There are telescopes that allow us to observe the distant universe, and others that guide us through the GPS system, etc.